Well, good morning. This is Carlos, the running jackal, and it is indeed morning. This is the earliest I've run in a long time. I'll explain to you in a minute when I get outside. So let me just start my running app and we'll get this run underway. Okay, 7:31. Still in London, still in New Malden to be exact, on a mild but overcast Sunday. It didn't snow the other day, but it did rain. It went from being cold and clear to being mild and wet. I'm running in shorts without my gloves. This is the laneway behind my brother's house. This is close to where I saw the mangy fox. Today I have to keep the run reasonably short. You can hear the echo and the birds. I'm running once again towards Richmond Park, but I have never started my recording this early. As you heard, I started from zero before I actually set off. So I can use my Runkeeper. Actually, it's not my Runkeeper, it's my Gaia app, my hiking app, which is the one that I will be using for this whole episode of my running life in Europe. I'm not too concerned about exact pace. It is what it is. No mangy fox today. But because it's 7:30 in the morning, hopefully I won't hear too many cars either. I'm going to be running over a footbridge that crosses the main railway line, the mainline train to London, might well go under this bridge as I run across. Morning. Hi. True to form, there it goes, in to Waterloo. Waterloo is one of the 5 main railway stations for central London. That system developed from 5 independent railway companies. They all had their main depot in London, and they all serviced different regions of the British Isles. Because they used to put the trains on the ferry to go across to Ireland. And they used to put the train on the ferry to go across to France. This was before the advent of the automobile. It's considerably milder today. It's probably 8 or 9 Celsius. And I can already tell that I will be overdressed as I approach the first kilometer of the run. The reason I'm running so early today is because C2, my older son, who has been staying here with Louis and Bethan, my brother and sister-in-law, he is going back to Kirkland, Washington today. So he will be flying out from Heathrow. We're leaving Louis' place at 10:30 today. It's kind of early for a 2:15 flight, but I believe that there is more than one reason for this. It's partly to do with the fact that they recommend that for international flights you give yourself 2 hours to clear security and baggage and check-in. So the other reason is, I believe, that Louis is taking me out at lunchtime to a pub. Beth and his wife, I believe, has some other commitments today, being Sunday. I haven't heard the kilometer readout yet. Let me just check. Yep, I probably had the volume down too low. Just check the settings. Yep, it should be announcing. Maybe it was just the volume thing. I have so much to say today. Because I'm running a continuous recording, I will try and get it all in. There will be some traffic noise for a few minutes. Okay, that should be most of the traffic noise for a little while out of the way. I can see there are no cars up ahead, just the runner coming towards me. Yep, she turned off. I've run here many years, but this is the first year that I have used the Richmond Park run as my default setting, only because the alternatives are rather noisy. Now that I've managed to get a good quality product going, I really don't want to spoil it by having to deal with a lot of extraneous traffic noise. Apart from today, it's going to be about a 5-mile run, 8 kilometers. Which will give me about 50 minutes of recorded material. I might take out a couple of traffic or non-speak sections to bring it down to a more like a 45-minute. I heard 2 great podcasts from Mr. Rosenberg, one on Spreaker and one on Run Norman. The Run Norman one was interesting because he was using some kind of old-time Western movie kind of sound track behind his dialogue, which I believe had something to do with the fact that he titled his latest episode about colder than a gold digger's belt buckle or something. I guess it had that prospector's theme running throughout. I'm on Traps Lane at the moment. Running up towards one of those check your own speed radar reminders. "28 miles an hour and a smiling face." Yep, another 28 and a smiling face. I, on the other hand, being so tiny, did not trigger the radar. Mind you, I have in the past managed to trigger the radar, but it was mounted a lot lower. That one was halfway up a lamp post. This really is quite a hill, but I always run it, so not wanting to buck the trend, I will continue to run this hill. This is Traps Lane. And when I get to the top, I have to stop and be very careful how I cross the major road up ahead. Once I'm past this, I will be on much more secluded neighborhoods. I have managed to use almost half of my clothing allocation. It is all waiting for me when I get back to wash. But my son's luggage and laundry had priority. Okay, so Traps Lane and Coombe Lane West. Okay, I'm safe. This is the Coombe Estate, as they call it. And there is a very swish golf club to my right. After today's run, I will have yet another collection of sweaty running gear to add to my wash. Jim has not been running very much lately because of the snow. He got walloped by the storm of the century. The Snowmageddon, as they were calling it. So it is now officially daybreak. I think the sun rose the sun will rise. Oh, the sun rose at 7:50, and it is 7:50 right now. But because of the dense clouds that blanket the entire south of England, we won't be seeing the sun until maybe later. I'm now running on wet sand down yet another laneway behind some houses on the Coombe estate. Wooden fences on both sides of me. That cooing was a dove. Now going through a cattle gate, one of those sties designed to stop animals wandering around too much. And I suspect also to prevent cyclists from using this laneway as a shortcut. Back on the pavement now. Obviously the cars can't get through that little cattle gate. I will be running past Dwight Eisenhower's one-time residence quite soon, just before I go back into Richmond Park for the fourth time this trip. I now have another golf course on my left side, but this road is much quieter. There are some speed humps along this road, and it is signposted at 20 miles an hour. The first day I came here, there was a Tesla doing the speed bump sprint. It would very respectfully go over the speed bump and then gun it at an insane acceleration rate to the next speed bump, when it would apply its incredible braking system, daintily step over the speed bump and then gun it to the next one. It was kind of surreal in a way, because the Tesla is an all electric vehicle. So when he was gunning it, you just saw him shoot away in silence. And then his brake lights would fire up. He would step over the next speed bump and then streak away to the next one. I guess that is the ultimate sign of affluence. Being able to drive incredibly fast without making any sound. But those cars are not cheap. I know they do have some lower end vehicles, but they would still be the price of a Mercedes probably. Today's episode I will probably call Birdsong. As the birds have been a major acoustic feature today, other than the cars on Traps Lane and yours truly. Getting back to my podcasting friends, I was looking forward to hearing Steve's latest version, but unfortunately, for some unknown reason, it seems to be playing at double speed. I'm not sure how he did that. I think I can probably help him out with that one. I know a lot of podcatching apps give you the option of listening at regular speed, 1.5, 2 times, that kind of thing. So I could load it up for him and slow it down, but I suspect that that would probably just be for my benefit. I did download it just so that I could do this. I will offer him that option. I could send him the adjusted sound file. Okay, this is Ike's old place. Hang on a second. Yep, safe. Ladder still ride. Hi. The runners here are very serious. They take their running very seriously. I think the British, as a rule, are quite serious people. They don't like showing emotion. That was the one thing I noticed. The one thing I was so pleased about when I got to British Columbia was how friendly everybody was. And not just British Columbia. to be more of a North American thing. I might even hear some of those feral parakeets. Not sure about that bird. Anything that vaguely sounds like a budgie in a cage is probably one of these feral parakeets I was mentioning. That's it. That one. There's a dove. There's a crow. Oh, the magpie. A magpie. Hello. But the same way that the North American red-winged blackbird and the robin are different in size and appearance to their North American and European ancestors, I should say. Alright, this is probably 4.5 kilometers. So I'm turning around and heading back so that I can be showered and ready to go with my son and brother to the airport to see him off. I think maybe my heavy hoodie is preventing the sound from my iPhone getting to my ears. Hello. Yep, nobody says hi here, especially not at 8 o'clock in the morning. These are all seriously dedicated people, the serious walkers, the serious dog walkers, the cyclists, the churchgoers. Hello. Again, yeah. She was cheerful. Mind you, I only saw her a minute ago. My older brother Louis has not yet been able to understand why I'm quite happy doing out and back runs. He doesn't really understand the significance of running to me and to many other people. We are, I would say, 75% running for the fitness benefits and possibly 25% running for the scenery. I know it makes a huge difference aesthetically where you run, but if it's the training benefit, that you're after, it makes very little difference. where you run. You could in fact be skipping rope for the same effect. Yesterday, Norman experienced the phenomenon of running against an organized event in terms of direction. He was running towards the participants in a 5K race at the hammock. And he noticed too how seriously everybody was taking this event. Maybe not smiling too much. Mind you, the people he first saw would have been the more competitive runners. They definitely would not have enough breath left to speak. Yep, I just heard the 5 kilometer. I think we tend to enjoy our running more in North America. For us, it is more of a lifestyle choice rather than a sport. The minute you call an activity a sport, then you will have winners and losers. And the Brits are very much into the winners, not so much into the losers. I must say that I did leave England with a smile on my face. I'm not one of these nostalgic expats coming home. For me, home is wherever my family are, be it Spain or England or Norway or Washington or France. Where else do I have family? Mexico City. Don't think I have any family in Africa now. My Norwegian uncle, who has recently, well, not that recently, but who died having retired with his Spanish wife to Spain. He was one of my mentors as a young boy. He used to host my visits. I have been to Norway twice to visit him and my Tia Pepita, my auntie Josephine. He lived and worked in Botswana for quite a long time. I believe he was in the university there as an agricultural professor. The birds here are very loud. I think what happens is later on in the day, the ambient traffic sounds kind of swamp out the bird sounds. Yep. So I do have a couple of projects in mind for today after I get back from Witherspoon's, where Louis is taking me for lunch. And I suspect the reason he has this Sunday ritual is because his wife is quite a devout churchgoer. So he respects her need for spiritual enrichment and lets her go to church, which means that he has to fend for himself. I did volunteer to cook for him and I today when we get back from the airport. That might still happen. Depends. It's just Bethan told me that she has a couple of salmon fillets that she would like somebody to eat. Could be Louis and I. 2 salmon fillets is not very much food when you have 4 people on the table, as we have been having lately. Well, not on the table, you know what I mean, at the table. We're not that uncivilized. The Castillos do not sit on the table to eat. Yesterday, I spoke to Norma. We all did. We did the Google Hangouts thing. Contacted her. But with the time zone thing, I believe it was 8 o'clock p.m. here, and we just finished eating, and it was noon in Victoria. So she had just got back from yoga, I believe. She went to. So now I have the pleasure of running down Traps Lane. Try, if you get a chance, to listen to Chris Russell's show. He explains quite eloquently the difference between realistic and unrealistic goals. I think I might have put the seed of an idea in his head a week and a half ago. Back to Coombe Lane West, crossed safely, and now running down Traps Lane towards Louis' place. Looking forward to hearing from some of our UK subscribers, some of our UK contributors in the RunNet community, people like Peter Harridge, people like Nigel, from Staffordshire. There are so many people I could visit while here in the British Isles, but basically without access to a car, it is quite an expensive and laborious process getting around by train. Even though I'm very impressed with the train system here, they have an incredible concentration of trains on the line. You spend 10 minutes on a platform here in the southwest of England, and you will hear 3 or more expresses going through, and with possibly 2 more trains that will stop for passengers. It's not like the underground system where every train stops at every station on their route. Here, they decide which ones will go straight through, which ones will stop where. You have to sit the right part of the train because they split the trains up. When they get further away from the conurbations of the cities, when people are wanting to go in slightly different directions, they split the trains up. They also have Wi-Fi on the train, which is great. I can do quite a lot of my lectureless playing on a long train journey. I think once you've registered on National Rail, you can pretty much pick up... Oh no, I remember the server for the train I was on was called Southwest. I think it was National Southwest. And I know from Nigel that Virgin has its finger in the pie of the transport system here as well. Not just airplanes, but trains as well. I think I've probably recorded about enough for today as I run past Badger's Walk, a private road to my left. So before I get too far in to New Malden High Street, I will say bye-bye from England. The next time you hear from me, I will be in Spain. So this is the Running Jackal saying bye-bye for now.